Hey there, good to see you. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at an essential strumming pattern. The reason why it's essential is because you hear it all the time, all over the place. It's a really, really good one to know and one that you're going to use probably lots in your career as a guitar player. Now let's take a look at the strumming hand. What I like to do sometimes when I'm working on a rhythm pattern is I like to either mute the strings with my fretting hand. So by muting, all I'm doing is I'm just resting my fingers against the strings. I'm not pushing down, I'm just resting them against them. Just so that I'm not trying to do too many things at once. I'm not trying to work on chord changes. I'm just trying to work on the rhythm, work on the strumming. So if you're at the point where you're really comfortable playing lots of different chords and doing chord changes, then for sure throw that in there. But you don't want to complicate it by adding things into the mix just for the sake of doing that. So the important part is just to make sure that we're focusing on our strumming hand. So you can either just mute the strings, or you can just play one chord. I like to stick with the E chord just to, a lot of the times when I'm playing or when I'm working on something, if I'm working on a complicated part, I'll just pick a chord and stick with that rather than just focusing on my fretting hand. I'm just able to zero in on my strumming hand. So do whatever you want. I'm going to use the E chord. I might also mute it from time to time. But what we're going to do is when we're working on this pattern, we're going to count it, and then I'm going to show you how to count it, show you how to play it yourself. So it goes like this. Down, down, up, down, up. So that would be one complete bar. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So if we're counting it, what I'm doing is I'm counting it 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. You might notice that I'm missing the 3, and the reason why is because we're using a rest there. So what's happening there is instead of strumming down that third beat, I'm actually skipping the strings altogether. So that's why I'm not counting the 3. I'm just counting the ones that I'm playing. So 1, 2, and remember in this rhythm pattern in particular, the ands are going to be on the ups. So the downs are going to be on the numbers, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in between is when our hand is moving up. So we're going down, down, up, and then we skip the strings, up, down, up. Down, down, up, skip, up, down, up, skip, up, down, down, up, rest, up, down, up, rest, up, down, up. Try it yourself. Down, up, down. 1, 2, and 4, and 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 1. Now if you want to try it with a chord, I'm going to be playing the E chord, so if you're playing along, play the E chord, and then we can try it together. So let's do it a little bit slower, and then we'll make sure that we're skipping over on that third beat, but we want to make sure our hand is moving, and that's the key. Whenever you're playing, working on rhythm, you want to always keep that arm moving. Keep that strumming hand going, because that's really the building block of playing and strumming, is having your hand consistently moving. So let's go again. I'm going to count 3, 4, and then we'll go into it. 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, and 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 1. Keep that arm moving. Keep it nice and consistent. down, down, up, down, up, down, up, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. If you need to slow it down, just to make sure we're keeping that arm moving. Sometimes what happens is when there's a rest, sometimes our hand, we just naturally pause and stop moving, but we don't want to do that. So sometimes just by slowing it down, you can work on that a little bit more. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and skip, and 4, and 1, 2, and skip. 'All right, work on that, especially getting to that third beat, that rest. It's a little bit of a brain teaser where your hand, you've got to force your hand to move sometimes. Even though it's not playing any of the strings, you still got to keep that hand moving. And that's really, really important moving forward, especially working on different rhythm patterns. You're going to want to keep that consistency going. So work on that, try it with some different chords, try it with some songs, and you'll actually find that you're going to use this rhythm pattern a lot with a lot of different songs. All right, we'll see you in the next lesson.